Yo, this is KaeDee.
And this is David.
And we are the K&D Exchange, where we exchange music, and as a result, we exchange ideas, bridging the gap between old and new, with all original music produced by. Enjoy. Yo, welcome back to the K&D Exchange. We are on episode 7. Oh, shit, no, episode 9. Jesus, man. I say this every time that I'm losing track, but this time I properly lost track. We are your hosts, KaeDee and David. David, what up?
Yo, man.
Yo. All right, so for people who have stuck with us so far, thank you very much. Blessings, again, like we say at the end of every episode. Start saying at the beginning as well. Start positive, end positive. Yes, exactly. For those who are new, simple format. We each give each other an album to listen to that the other person hasn't previously heard. And then at the end of each episode, and then the next episode, we discuss our thoughts on those albums and, why we gave them, what we felt from our kind of fresh listens and everything to it. So without further ado, we'll jump into the first one, which is usually David's exchange for me. So David, what album did you give me this week?
Yeah, man. So I gave you Four Heroes 2001 album called Creating Patterns.
Shit.
What did you think?
This was a weird listen for me because it's a bit outside of my bag, as I'm sure you may have guessed. There's elements of it that are slightly in the bag, but as a whole, as an album, this is kind of an out of the bag experience for me. What would you say? This is 2001, right? Four Hero, they're two producers from London, this is the thing that it's what's their names? Mark, and Dago. I don't know if you. Yeah, is that how?
I called him Diageo.
Dago, Dego. Correct us if we're wrong. On Wikipedia, it said that they're known for being pioneers of breakbeat, hardcore, jungle / drum and bass, broken beat, and new jazz music. And when I mean NU, right? Because when you read that, it gives, I don't know about you, but when you read like certain genre names, especially the more kind of niche ones, it gives you a certain idea of what they might sound like in your head. Like which one? Broken beat and new jazz. There's like a certain sound I'm expecting in my head.
Sure.
But yeah, which I can't always explain what it is. If there's even any frame of reference, or it's just purely like broken beat. Okay, well, what does that just physically feel like? What do I envision when I see that? But yeah, as a whole, like I said, bit of a weird listen for me. It's a long album.
I didn't realize this, dude. I sort of apologize for it. Like, I used to listen to this album. So I first heard of it in 2002. Very sort of transformative time for me. Like first year of university. Okay. Just understanding, just trying to understand different genres of music. But I used to listen to this album religiously while I was studying. This is one of the few albums I listened to back to back. I think Beautifully Human was one of them.
Which we reviewed.
Yeah, which we've reviewed. The Roots, Illadelph Half-Life.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
My goodness me, yeah. Things Fall Apart. No, wait. That might have been a bit later, but definitely 07, Simple Things, and this album, Creating Patterns. So I used to, because they were quite long albums, when I'd get to the end of those sort of 4 albums, 4 hours would have gone by. Do you know what I mean? So it's just it just became part of the aesthetic of university for me. So
I completely get that.
Yeah, so when I revisited it today, I was like, I can't wait. It's like, you know what I mean? Like putting on like an old jacket, And, I really felt the length of it today.
It's a bit different when you're at uni, innit? Because it feels like at uni you have so much everyone always tells you this when you go to uni, like, this is the most time you're ever gonna have, most free time you're ever gonna have, and whatever else. And you're like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm gonna keep this blueprint when I leave uni as well. I'm not gonna be like the rest of you. You don't realize that life just fucking hits you, and suddenly the time is squashed. That even that listening to an hour-long album is like, luxury. I need to be doing something. Yeah, I need to be doing something for an hour long to have that running in the back, and it's studying is like a good time to do that, because you are just kind of doing that for extended periods of time. I mean, that's kind of why you're there, isn't it? So, so actually with that in context, I understand like the kind of that actually, I didn't think about that, probably because I haven't had to do it in such a long time, like studying, but like I just didn't listen to this thinking, this is good studying music, because I was wondering of instrumental music. On occasion I do, and if I do, a lot of the time it's just listening to beats. So like that Mad Lib thing, it will be like, I just want to hear some beats and whatever. But in terms of actual instrumental music, like how you keep saying that, just give me songs, but even if they're instrumentals, for me, it's not usually something I will go back to a lot, because for me, it will always feel like for me that it's missing the vocal element, which is really important for me, I guess. And but that's just for me, innit? That's in terms of replay value. That's not in terms of quality or anything like that. But I do like how this kind of really embodied that, how it wasn't just a bunch of loops or anything like that. It was the songs progressed, and musically they progressed, and there'll be certain times where I write down my notes at the beginning, kind of like, I this is nice, I get it, and then as I'm typing, the music changes and I'm like, actually I quite like it, and then actually by the end of it I'm like, okay, this has really grown on me. I think I even wrote on one of them, like this I think it was on Unique. On 8 I wrote the song 8. As soon as it started, I wrote, what the fuck is 8? Right? Like the sound in this, right? I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I was like, yeah, it's interesting. It's got more into its groove as it went on. Not really for me as a whole. I can see it growing on me though. And then I wrote, it's growing on me as I'm typing this, because that's exactly what happened. I wrote down, I can see this growing on me. As the music kept changing, and then it fully grew on me as I listened to it. It's like I couldn't, like, even just to prepare for this, like, kind of, okay, let me try and remind myself of what all the songs sound like, and write down the notes or whatever. I couldn't really skim through. I felt like I ended up kind of trying to skim, but giving it kind of, things would change in the music, and I'd kind of just sit and give them the kind of length. They were like lengthy skims, if that makes sense, so I kind of go through it and trying to figure out, because it was like an hour and 17 minutes or something like that. And I do like a lot of the musicality on it, and I do like the songs with vocalists on them,
right?
I really like, they work so well, like that kind of jazzy, low-key kind of backdrop. I love Jill Scott on her one. She's hard on that, like on Another Day, and she's so relatable when she sings.
This is what made me fall in love with Jill Scott.
I get that completely. She's so relatable, like
she's so soft
thing in the song. It's like she's just like, not even whispering, but she's just soft spokenly, if that's even a word, but like she's saying to me in a soft spoken way, I want to stay home, I don't want to go to work today, I just want to
stay home and play video games.
Video game, that's the actual lyric as well. Like it's just so raw and just relatable. There's no sugarcoating it, and it's just, she delivers it just so nicely. So I like that song. That's like an anthem for anyone who's doing a 9 to 5 kind of that bullshit. That's the kind of soundtrack for that. The first song was really interesting. Like I listened when I was on my second listen. I was driving to Tesco, and the weather's kind of it was kind of icy, but it's warmed up a little bit, like at the time of recording, right? And it was making me nostalgic for something I wasn't sure what I was nostalgic for. Like I've never heard this before, but I don't know if it's the strings or something. Maybe there's something in the song that's dating it to that time, but not in a bad way. It's like, I think that's what was making me nostalgic. It was like I was hearing those strings and the drums and stuff, and I was thinking, this sounds like this came out when it did. But then at the same time, I probably heard songs around that time when I was younger, which had similar elements in it. And that's maybe adding together to make that nostalgic feel. Maybe I heard something in my dad's car or something while we were driving, and it just happened to look like similar kind of day, you know, aesthetically or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. It was really weird. And I was just like, it just really mellowed me out. And I just felt like I was just gliding down the road. I was like, what am I thinking of? What am I thinking back to? I have no memory to associate with this. It's like I've just made it up. I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty good way of opening the album. And with the front cover as well, like, I think it looks like the front cover. And the front cover looks weird for like today's standards, but it's is it like, I don't know if this is the result of the streaming service, but is it like a low quality kind of look? I don't know what it is like.
So it always looked low quality from what I remember.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I was looking at it today on my music app. I was like, I swear this was crisp back in the day. Yeah. Like, I swear this was like sharp, but you know.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, that, and sometimes that kind of dates it as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because there's certain like Southern hip hop albums which have like this particular type of front cover, like the kind of 3-6 Mafia stuff. I don't know, or like what was the label back then? No Limit. There was a Limit label. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Yeah, like Master P and them. Yeah, they had these particular this particular type of album cover which was just really, really, really dated, and it just looks so weird. Like I don't want it in my library because it just looks so out of date. But then 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, they dropped an album called Savage Mode 2 last year, towards the end of last year, and they did like a throwback to that in terms of the front cover.
Yeah,
and I think it kind of brought it back into the conversation again. So maybe that's like untimed. That's made it not timeless.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, that's made it timeless because they brought it back. I don't even know if that's possible. That could be another separate conversation. Like, can you make something that was dated? Can it suddenly become timeless? Do you get what I mean?
That's a
heavy one.
That's a really heavy one. I think now that you've planted the seed, I need to water it in here.
Yeah, that's one
I need to think on it.
Yeah, that one needs a bit of thinking. That's not really tangent worthy because we kind of need to look at any particular examples, right?
Well, I'd say Kanye, but he already used like great, amazing music, which may have been dated, but it was already great. Oh. Do you know what I mean? Like with Curtis Mayfield, Move On Up, like we played it at our wedding breakfast. Like that was the song we came into, like Move On Up. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. Yeah. And the fact that he made So High, like Kanye made So High, and it just brought it back, like how much I love that song. And he made a song totally different, you know, obviously using that sample, just repurposed it and just took something great and repackaged it and made something great again, you know? Maybe he just repurposed it.
Are you talking about Touch the Sky?
Is that what did I say? So High?
So High, yeah. I was thinking.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's Touch the Sky.
Yeah, Touch the Sky.
Because he says, I'm so high. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, So High, that's a Des'ree song. Another great song.
Or you might be thinking of Get 'Em High, the song he did with Ludacris.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Oh no, sorry. What? No, the song he did with Ludacris was Breathe In, Breathe Out. Get 'Em High was the one with Talib Kweli. Get 'Em High. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know if you remember. It was on College Dropout.
Do you know what? Now I'm.
But yeah, regardless.
Anyway,
Touch the Sky had it had quite a liberal kind of sample of Move On Up.
Yeah.
Because it makes me wonder, like, okay, I wonder, was Move On Up, when did that come out? Like,
I mean,
70?
I think 76.
Okay, so
if only there was a tool that we could use, a handy World Wide Web tool that we could use.
What, to look
this up
right now?
Yeah, man. No, I gotta know.
Yeah, you have to go find the book. Find the book, look it up, find the vinyl, look at the back, have a look.
All right, Move On Up. When were you made?
Sounds
My
like it
God.
would have been like
1970.
70 on the dot. Okay, so
Wow.
Touch the Sky was around 2000, and I probably got this wrong. 2005. Yeah, 2005 or 6, something. Yeah, around that period of time. So there's a good solid like 30 years or so where people could have said within that time either that they were playing that song still and it just didn't go out of style and it sounded right, and no one was saying, well, as in general, no one was saying, oh, stop playing that old shit. But until Kanye repurposes it, and then it's like, whoa, what is that song? Yeah. But unfortunately now, I personally think that song's timeless.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a bad example for this conversation.
It could be a good example, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, the song is already great. In my opinion, it's one of my favorite songs ever. I will never get bored of it.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, with Touch the Sky, I just think that it was just like an example more than anything. But
it kind of more boosted the kind of already lifelong lifespan.
that's exactly it. It like Kanye didn't, make the song great again.
No, yeah. But
MAGA. I was just thinking
I was thinking of the MAGA thing as well.
But I mean, so the sort of joining on to the conversation about this album, do you see like any inspirations or links from old stuff that could have been repurposed and used in this Creating Patterns album?
I mean, like, I'm not too sure, like, it felt like an amalgamation of a bunch of different things, it felt like a whole, like, across this whole thing, there was just these drum patterns I loved, and just, I couldn't tell, well, when I found out they were an electronic group, like when it said on Wikipedia, an electronic music group, I was like, okay, so it's not like, it sounds like there's a full band sometimes playing this stuff. So I was like, okay, I don't know if it's like a DJ Shadow thing where they're just creating all this stuff out of samples, and therefore that's why it sounds like it's live and from a live band and all this sort of shit. But no, like what influences would you say are kind of
man, there's loads. There's like Latin jazz.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah,
there's
I heard that.
There's drum and bass in there in the song Time. There's like new, so you can see, like, I would even say there's a couple of instances where they've been like influenced by like Jamiroquai song patterns, like not so much on the ones that they released, but I'm talking about the ones like the hidden gems on the albums.
Oh, okay,
so
right.
I'd say there's a lot of, so there's like neo jazz, I guess. I would say there are soul influences in here. There's definitely leaning on classical music influences. It is
all the string sections and stuff.
So for me, like I will never turn my nose up at classical music, but I think that when you couple classical music with just about any genre, you just add strings to anything. I mean, like strings to drum and bass, strings to flipping rock, like strings to oh my goodness, strings to like hip hop, for example. Well,
it adds this like epicness, right? Like
it adds a grandiose scale to everything.
Grandiose, that's the word.
And I mean, there's just so many. I mean, like on the song Time, there's I love the woman that does the spoken word. part. Her name's Ursula Rucker.
Ursula Rock. Yeah, that's what I wrote down too.
Man, she's done a couple of tunes with 4Hero, and like there's another one on the third album. So the one album just after this one, and basically, this woman is elite poet. Okay, so we're talking about like, you know, rappers and MCs and stuff being poets and yeah. This woman she's awesome, and you should check out some of her stuff.
I definitely will.
Yeah, I mean, just the way smooth voice, smooth vocals, just very, very mellow. But what she says is absolute fire.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah,
that whole story, kind of that imagery that she's laying out on that song. Like at first, I thought it was like when she's saying all the like about "Don't let me go to the other side." I was thinking, okay, is she dying or whatever? But then actually, it's the other way around. It's like a pre-birth into life. And like when she says like, "Scan the planet for my Earth nurse, traverse the universe. Blessed unheavenly hearth with the gift of me. I know she wants me, but evil's henchmen hunt me. She'll need an army to keep harm from me." Like, and then, as you know, it's like, okay, right. So I understand that you're placed in the world, in the school, and you know you have like the kind of negative influences. You know, so evil's henchmen. She mentions like Satan and stuff earlier on. You know, kind of vying for you. But then later on, it gets more and more human, where it's like there's this like lack or distrust or kind of like lack of faith almost. Yeah. That's how I took it as it was going. Like, you know, your impunity displeases me as I grow, yet this unity seizes me. In time to be, I will cease to be yours. It's like, it turns out that she's like talking from the perspective as if she's like these different, she's like, what would you call it? Like the soul or the spirit that's incarnated into all the different people of note or like prophets or whatever throughout history. So when she keeps saying towards the end, I am Jesus, I am Muhammad, I am Moses, or when she says, maybe you'll have someone put a bullet in my heart, start my journey. No, not to kill me, just to wake me. So I surrender, so I remember the wealth of my name. Like, I was like, bruv, like wording it that particular way, it's like there's no other words that could fit in there to really fully exemplify that feeling. Like, and putting yourself in the kind of mindset of these people who we kind of look at. If you look at it from a religious standpoint, you look at them as not almost being like a level above human, between God and human, right? You don't really imagine someone like Jesus having anxiety or human issues, right? You imagine that he just knows fucking everything and he's just kind of, he's here for us, right? He's here to help us. Same with all of them, right? They're kind of here for a purpose. They're here to do their thing. Whereas the rest of us are kind of a bit more aimless. We have to kind of adhere to the human condition and whatever. You know, we have our misgivings about things, and we don't fully know what we're supposed to be doing. You know, we can't see into the future, but we keep looking back in the past and all that stuff. To go into their heads and to be like, you know, well, maybe you'll put a bullet in my heart to start my journey, as in to bring me back. So maybe this time you'll crucify me. Maybe this time you'll drown me. Maybe this time, you know, whatever body you've put me into, you've got this idea, like talking to God, you've got this idea of how to wipe me out, bring me back home. And then that way I'll remember who I am. I remember the wealth of my name. So my name's Jesus. Okay. That's going to resonate and mean a lot to the world. My name's Moses. That's going to mean a lot to the world. I'm just here doing this, going through time, coming back. And I'm like, whoa, that humanizes the whole thing. Like, whoa, strange perspective to think of it from.
Throughout human evolution, basically, she is like, it's amazing. Her imagery always reminds me of like just before birth, because obviously she says, you know, till birth's first cry, and she says alive. But it's also, I think, I always took it as the you got primordial man, like figuring out fire, figuring out like, you know, how to live and fur and food and hunt and all of that stuff. And then like I always took that when she says till birth's first cry line, I always took that as like the Enlightenment. So when people, you know, the birth of the 20th and 21st century, basically, you know, and I always think
things went downhill. No, I'm joking. well, debatably, but yeah.
Wow. I think things were south for a good few people already, but but that's how I always took it as it was always a double meaning with her. I think that her lyrics, you could analyze this set of lyrics, you could analyze this song, and I'm sure you could come up with about 30 different interpretations of it. I mean, I think it's a work of art personally, but
I agree. And tying back to what you were saying about what we were talking about last time with like rappers being considered as poets and to be as like literary kind of greats.
Yeah.
She reminded me when I heard her voice, she's got that kind of black female poets type, what's the word, cadence, or kind of
that's it,
something to her voice, right? Which makes you kind of, or at least like when I hear it, it's like, okay, I've heard this before. I'm already in. I can hear it. I've heard like in like because the Roots have put some like I can't. It's not her, is it? Like who? Because part of me thought that she was the woman on The Cool by Lupe Fiasco. I think it was The Cool at the beginning when it's like they thought it was cool to blah 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 blah. They thought it was cool to. I don't know who that was.
I don't think so.
Because the first track's called Baba Says Cool for Thought or something like that.
That's correct.
And there's like a woman, it's almost, I think, maybe I'm making up the claps, I'm not sure, but like it sounds like she's outside somewhere saying this.
Yeah.
Or at least it's recorded that way.
If I remember correctly, it sounds like, oh my goodness, like they're by like a train station or something.
Yeah, it sounds like there's something kind of going in the background. And
yeah.
This is on Lupe's second album at the beginning, and I remember hearing that.
Such a good album.
Yeah. Well, this ties in with Lupe because Lupe is the kind of guy who writes lyrics where and songs where you can just like find all types of interpretations and everything from it, and there's so much depth that you can deep dive into his songs. And he's like a master lyricist as well, man. Like
I agree.
He's incredible. Yeah, like he should be someone who I should have mentioned last time in terms of like studying them and stuff like that. But it reminded me of that woman because I remember when I first heard that when I was a bit younger, I was still at school and thinking, whoa, she sounds like the kind of poets we were learning about in school, but the kind of, not the traditional types, but we started to also branch out into these kind of newer guys who would be at these like poetry kind of things we'd go to, like on a school trip or something. I think we went to this one thing once, and there'll be these guys who are maybe a bit quicker in their cadence, and that would always grab our attention because we're like, whoa, how does he say those words so quickly and stuff like that, and all the rhymes and stuff. But then for me to hear on like a hip hop album, to hear someone who I didn't see really represented at school a lot in this kind of field, sorry, in terms of being a poet and stuff like that, was like an American black woman who's saying this in a way that I'm hearing it and thinking this sounds like poetry. It sounds so weird that back then I was saying to myself, whoa, she sounds like a poet. It's like, no, she doesn't sound like one, she is one, right? But it was kind of take me aback back then, like, whoa, you mean that people that are just out in front on the street outside like a shop just saying this stuff to people can be considered poets? I thought you had to like get training for that sort of shit. I thought you had to go and like pass your English GCSE and stuff. You're so boxed in when you're younger, like in your thinking. That you don't notice that. So things like that really opened and expanded my mind. That's coming from a hip hop album, which back then as well was always, it glorifies gang culture, it glorifies this, always about the things that they glorify, right? As opposed to, they weren't looking at the Lupes and the Commons and the Nas's and all of them, right? They were just looking at the
storytellers.
Yeah, they weren't looking at them. They were looking at the Dipsets and the G Units and stuff, which all had their place. But it's like, come on, man, it's not all just that. Like,
absolutely, it's easy to package.
Oh yeah, because once you make something other, it's so much easier to fight against that, right? Because it's like, look at this thing, it's bad. Boom, 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 bombard it with all the bad labels, right? But it was cool hearing that. I think, and there was another song I think with the kind of was there another song with a kind of poet a poet.
Is that the one 12 Tribes where he's just sort of
12 Tribes? Yeah, this was a male poet this time.
Yeah. And that for me was, I mean, I listened to that again today. That was the song that I came back to like more and more.
Oh, really?
I never, it was one it's taken me, my goodness, 19 years to grow on me, but it
Right.
really hit me different today. This album hit me like completely different as an older person. I haven't listened to it in so long. And
Sure.
12 Tribes just hit me, and I thought, this is amazing. It's amazing music. I love this album. Sorry.
Sure, yeah. Well,
Sorry, it's your review.
No. Well, part of it is kind of why you'd give it. I mean, I found it really interesting. I loved Lady Alma on Hold It Down.
Yeah.
That's another song. Around that kind of Jill Scott part, it picked up for me.
Yeah,
So
I had a feeling you'd like that one. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah.
Something about the way she sings on that and the jazzy things. I am like a jazz fan as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and I love it when it's in part of hip hop as well. Like when they start.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's so many classic kind of hip hop songs or albums that have that kind of jazzy kind of sound to them. I just think it works so well. Tribe. That's kind of what really
set
and I mean,
them
like,
apart for me. I just love the drums.
The drums, heavy drums with those like jazzy piano chords and horns and things like that. Yeah, just such a good pairing because it all feels underground.
Correct.
You imagine being in those jazz clubs with a certain mood lighting, the kind of orange lighting and whatever,
people with like fezzes and
that kind of
in their caps.
Yeah, that kind of vibe where they're just doing their thing, you know. They're just letting the kind of the music, without sounding corny or anything, they just let the music kind of flow through them.
Yeah,
and there's not too much patterns, and I mean we take that for granted now, but I love that sound and the pianos, especially when you hear them, especially in real life. They give you that you know when people talk about like jazz bars or like chilled jazz and smooth jazz, it's like I can pinpoint each of those. Coffee table jazz. Like, you know, there's all this kind of jazz for like certain types of vibes, and it's just it's unmatched for me in terms of creating a certain atmosphere where I can imagine being in certain places where there's someone just playing the piano a certain way. You know, there's nice hotels with the hallways. You have the guy playing the piano and stuff, and it's always in movies and things like that. And it's so much bigger when you actually hear it in real life. And I remember going to a jazz club in I went to Chicago to see I went to America to see my uncle in like 2013, and we drove to Chicago and we went to a jazz bar there, and it just blew my mind. It was everything I wanted, everything I expected, everything I wanted. It was just so good. And hearing that coupled with like the hard kind of hip hop stuff and the drums, and then the MCs on top, I'm just like, that's just the perfect blend for me.
It's unparalleled. I think there's a point in my review later on where I put piano music undefeated.
Yeah, who's gonna beef with a piano, man? Like it's like it's like I can't even find a word to describe it. Like when you sprinkle it, if you sprinkle it or you lay it on thick over your songs, like it can. Although I say that, there are some songs, and I think mainly hip hop, where if there's an over reliance on piano to make it seem like, right, this is the emotional part of the song.
Yeah.
Take out all the drums. Boom, just piano. Right, now let's get serious. I'm gonna be like,
but there are occasions where it works, like the first tune on Busta Rhymes' Extinction Level Event 2, and it goes into The World Is Yours. Just
that's
that,
different,
and he's rapping
because
over the top.
Those are very jazzy pianos. That's why. That's why it works. Rakim on that fucking kills that shit.
Honestly,
I wish I just had that section. Right, of the
I
song.
don't need the rest of the song.
Yeah. Without the intro and Chris Rock and all that shit. No, take the Rakim bit on that album and just have it its own thing. You don't even need to add any drums.
No, that was the beauty of it. Like it was just that and the bass, and like just talking about it, like, is making my heart is genuinely like beating so quickly. Like I remember the first time when I first heard it. I mean, it's a pretty relatively new album as well.
Yeah, from last year.
I think I messaged you, didn't I? I think I was just like, you've got to hear this.
Yeah, and I'd heard it, and it was just, it's one of those, like, that first song was just so, it was Rakim's part. That I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, that just fully reminded me of that.
Yeah, what a great album as well. Like,
great album in general. Another really long one, but really good.
Yeah, because I've realised that we haven't really brought up Busta Rhymes. Like I've always said about dynamism in delivery, and when a rapper becomes an artist and things like that. Busta Rhymes is, I mean, I think he's been so far ahead of the curve for so long.
Trust me, man.
That you kind of forget just how good like he was. But I think that is a deep dive in itself, though, bro. Like,
I think we should add Busta Rhymes to the thing, because I think Busta Rhymes unfairly gets put into the speed rap category when that's not all he does.
Sad. It's not. He can do everything. He's a Swiss Army knife of rap. He can do it all. And I think we should leave that part right there. Busta Rhymes can do it all.
He can just do it all. Yeah, if I see him featuring on a song, I'm like, yes, I'm down.
I'm in. I'm always in.
Yeah,
even if it was like, I don't know. I remember a few years ago he did a "Look at Me Now" with Chris Brown. I was like,
I knew you were going to mention.
I don't even like Chris Brown, but
Busta.
I fucks the shit out of that song though. Love that song. Chris Brown, Busta's giving you cool cred, man. Yeah, cool.
To be fair,
coming in, you're part of the party now.
Busta Rhymes is just so versatile. He's just so, man. You're right. There's not much more you can say on that. But bringing it back to the piano thing, I think what my problem with that is if I be more specific, I mean like so if you have a song and then suddenly it's just the beat cuts out, it's just pianos, and now you suddenly get serious. It's not because there's pianos and you're just rapping over it. I think I don't like it in general. I might have said this before, but when feelings and stuff or emotions in songs are laid out too much for the listener, so they're like, it's like really clear to you, like, right, this part is the anger song, right, this part is the emotional part, or just for a song in general, like because sometimes when I'm on looking for like beats or stuff by producers, I will hear certain beats and it's like, okay, it's a bit too on the nose already. Like it's a bit too like, this is a angry type beat, this is a very sad type beat, as opposed to just listening to the music and just feeling an emotion from it. If I don't like it when the song tells you how to feel.
Fair enough. You want nuance, then that's what you're after.
So I don't like it when it's not that it's bad, it's just not for me necessarily. Like it kind of turns me off a little bit. So I really like Dave, the UK MC. But on his last album he did that, like on the very first track. The first track, such a banger, like just as it came in, and it was really, really killing it, and then it does this sudden kind of stop and just goes into this like sad piano, and he suddenly changes his tone, and that's cool. But it's just, for me, when I heard that part, I was like, almost like tapping my feet, like, okay, when are you going to get back into the track? I felt like personally it could have been a bit different how he composed that emotional part of the song. I get it, I get why he did it. For me personally, I'm just like, okay, I'm not really a fan of when any artist really does that,
It does to me like smack of a bit of tropeism. It's a bit tropey. It's a bit obvious.
It's a bit too obvious. That's it.
It's almost like in the you've got a buddy cop film, and then they hate each other, and then they have the come to Jesus moment where they love each other. So tropey, and it works, and that's sort of what you signed up for. But when it comes to music, I do appreciate that. I think there's always a place and a time for when it's like straight on the nose, and for when there's like a little bit of where you can sort of let people's imaginations sort of run wild and let them feel it's. But I think it's very difficult, like as an artist. And as somebody that makes music, you're making music, I've made music, back in the day. I think it's very difficult to, like, you're not caring what anyone else thinks, right? You're looking at yourself and you think, do I love this music? Am I happy for other people to hear
that's
it?
what's important. That's what's important, really.
And if the answer is yes, then you don't actually care if it's on the nose. That's your intention. It's made that way. So I guess
that's true. Yeah.
It's
like I said, I get why he did it. Like I get why he does it. I might have to listen again. It might actually not be like I might not feel the same way about it now.
Yeah, for real.
But I think the Rakim example from the Busta Rhymes album was a great example of when that really like a different layer to my thought on that. So it may be that actually, if you was to do that, maybe it's actually just the type of piano you put underneath.
But it's instantly recognizable. He didn't choose a weak piece of piano music. Like
that's true. He chose that jazz sample.
Aficionados know that's piano piece. Okay, like if you're a Nas fan. And a Busta fan, then you are in heaven.
Mate, yeah. But just a hip hop fan, to hear Rakim after all these years, and just to still have not lost his way, like he's an OG in hip hop who doesn't really need to make any new music, but then he jumps on something like this, and it's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh, and his voice sounds even better now.
Is so good.
It's massive. His voice.
There's this new soundtrack that came out for this new movie called Judas and Messiah or something like that.
Okay.
Listen to the soundtrack. There's a song with Rakim at the end, and it's got the movie is about I can't remember what it's about. Set in a certain time. It's to do with like it's one of those. It's like a very black oriented film. So it's about America during a certain time when there's like Malcolm X and people like that. And I'm oversimplifying it, but so the track list is very stacked and it's very kind of on those themes and on those topics. So it's very I was going to say very for the time, but it's been like this for a while, so it's it's not really for the time, but it's unfortunately still for the time. But there's a Rakim song at the end of that. Just I'm like, wow, okay. Hasn't lost his step still. He just pops out every now and then. Yeah. Just kills it, man.
Honestly, his voice is like oak. It's just...
Yeah, it's like oak. That's perfect.
It's amazing.
That's a perfect way of putting it.
He's brilliant. I've really... Like, over the last couple of years, like, I've always heard, like, when I was, like, younger, I was listening to Talib Kweli, and, like, one of my favourite songs is Country Cousins.
Okay.
Again, a little bit of a story on that, but can't be. But like, he says that he was raised on Rakim and Run DMC, right?
Yeah.
And so Rakim has always been in the back of my head, but I remember a few years ago. Actually, this is when I met my wife. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Rakim fan. Yeah, he's pretty cool." And I was like, "What?
Wow!"
And then so I had to go back and listen. And
is your wife a hip hop fan, like in general?
Yeah. She loves hip hop. She's got a really eclectic taste in music as well. Okay. Like she likes a lot of like the doo-wop 50s stuff. Like because her dad, so my father-in-law, is basically he's a musician's musician.
Sure.
Self-taught nutter guitarist, unbelievable guitarist, by the way. Wow. Can play Hendrix. So
okay.
I know a lot of people can play Hendrix, but my favorite song is All Along the Watchtower, and I've had the pleasure of seeing him play that in a band.
Oh, okay.
And he loves he loves calypso music, like flipping, a little bit of bashment, like it's crazy. He likes, oh my gosh, rock and roll.
So she's got all
whatever.
That
so she's got, she's got all of that, and she's got a really good taste in music. But going back to it, Rakim is very. I didn't realize how influential he was for the rap game, at all, and also his messages were very. I found Rakim was a very, very on the nose rapper. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of like nuance. It was just I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
And that's my song. And I think that it's really cool because, you know, he obviously paved the way and opened the door for the more conscious guys and stuff. And it was just quite nice to hear him now, the grandfather of, you know,
it feels like it, right? Like he's one of the grandfathers.
And then, like, he's talking to one of the fathers of rap, like, you know, on Busta Rhymes' album.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a very, very, it just feels like a natural passage of time.
Yeah,
you know? In a roundabout way of 5 minutes of nonsense. Rakim's sick.
Rakim's fucking sick. Like, have you heard his albums with Eric B? Like those classic ones, like
Eric B.
Follow the Leader, and what was the first one called? Paid in Full.
I've got them all here. You know,
that first song, I Ain't No Joke. I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. Like, oh man, I know that song like, word for word if you played it. Like, just I used to study Rakim, man.
Yeah, and that was the thing. It always eluded me. I always knew that I, you know, one day needed to pay the ticket, pay the toll, and pay homage to Rakim. Yeah. But as you know, as an adult, I'm glad that I didn't listen to him when I was younger, because it would have been lost on me just how important he was. Whereas when you look back now,
you noticed it in hindsight, right?
My goodness, I don't even think he fully understands just how he impacted the culture. So yeah, man. Yeah, Rakim, fucking amazing, man. OG of rap.
Yeah. Trust me, he's in my top 10 of all time. Like, he was a big influence on me.
Don't think he could be far from anybody's top 10. To be honest.
I think he's just not very active, so I guess he can kind of slip people's minds. But it's like, if you're going to make a top 10, top 50, he's got top 50. He's definitely got to be in it. But like
100
contender, at least you have to at least think about him.
The top 10.
In the top 10, yeah, at least
easy.
Minimum.
Easy.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's. We're gonna have to do a show on
our top
10.
I have a top 11 because I had to factor in Doom because I was late to that party.
I was really late to Doom. I was early and I was late at the same time. But you know, But anyway, back to the album, dude, man.
Back to the album, yeah. So, why did we say that I really liked Lady Alma's vocals? You said that was a song. I was starting talking about jazz, and then that led to
That's
Rakim,
it.
Sort of stuff. Yeah,
A Tribe Called Quest, and then Rakim.
Tribe Called Quest, and that. Yeah. Unique was cool. It's like this is another moment where I wrote down something, and then it started to change my tone. Like, so I was like, Unique is cool. Don't understand what she's saying, but that's cool. Not really vibing too heavy to this one. The vocals mainly carry it for me. The beat sounds a little dated to me until it switches up and the guitar string comes in. That little, you know, you're talking about the Latin influence. I felt like, I think if I remember right, it was kind of in this song. And then sounds great here. The flute that's coming in sounds great too. And now it's like, okay, yeah, actually, it's just that first minute that sounded a little bit dated because of a certain sound, which I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think I know exactly the one you're on about.
Yeah, I can't even describe the sound. Yeah. Blank Cells had great drums on that. Something Nothing is I just wrote Something Nothing is tight. So I must have just liked it and that's it. Nothing much else I know. Ways of Thought is nice. Then there's that song called 2BS74638.
I mean, what the hell is that about?
I thought you might shed some light on some of these things for me, like
bro. No, I listened to that today and I was like, I don't even want to investigate. I can't. If you're not going to tell me, I can't be,
I don't want to
make no effort. I ain't going to make any effort either.
I said nice drums on that. Les Fleur is nice. The big ending sections are really nice, and I even wrote here, it reminds me of something from a hip hop album I've listened to before, but I can't remember what. I don't know if it's some old school stuff, like maybe Beastie Boys, but or Cypress Hill or something, or if it's some of this newer stuff. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Brockhampton.
I know the name. I haven't heard anything though.
They're like a new they're referred to as a boy band, but in hip hop because there's like 18 of them. So yeah, so it's like, but then they don't make like boy band music, right? But they're just for hip hop. They just like, it's kind of, they're very, very. So they're very new. They're very of the new era, right? So they kind of debuted, I think, in 2017, and they dropped these 3 albums or mixtapes, whatever you call them, called Saturation, because that's what they were trying to do. They were like saturating the game, and so there was Saturation 1, 2, and 3, all in the same year, and each one was kind of different from each other. And because there's so many of them, like if we think Wu-Tang was big, there's like double the amount of people in this group, right? I think I'm sure I'm getting this right, that there was a lot of people in this group, that not all of them get their chance to shine on like the first album. So then the second one comes through and you hear new voices. Third one, you hear, I can't even distinguish between who's who on that.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but they had this good album called Ginger, which is like one of the most emotional and kind of low-key sounding hip-hop albums I've ever heard. And they have these weird singing things and stuff on there. But yeah, so I can imagine they have these big singing sections in some of their songs, which really make you feel something. Like they're really grand, and they're not scared of like adding this like just acoustic guitar just strumming along with some strings in the background and these like kids like choir kind of chanting and stuff. I'm trying to remember what the name of the song is, but I'll send it to you and you'll get an idea what I mean. And that's on like a hip hop album, right? Inverted commas. Like that's, Brockhampton are an example of how far the genre has come because a lot of these guys can rap as well. That's the thing.
Cool.
So you can't even like dismiss them. You'll hear certain songs, you'll be like, what is this weird auto-tune shit? But then they'll spaz like on the same song or on the next song, and you'll just be like, oh, I want to hate them, but I can't.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I mean? Yeah.
No, you've piqued my interest now. Yeah, I've heard the name. I just never.
They're a weird collective. I don't listen to them a lot, but I remember I haven't heard much from them recently actually. But yeah, so Le Fleur, how do you say it?
Yeah,
Can't remind me of that. I love the ending part of that.
It's humongous, that song.
Yeah,
so big.
Sounds big, right?
Yeah,
big. I was going to ask you, do you kind of have a breakdown for 12 tribes?
I do.
Just from listening, like.
I mean, do you know? Like, here's an idea. I think we should I think people listening should listen to this song and let us know what you think, because I will happily like divulge, like not a problem. But I'm really curious because I don't think I've ever known, because every time I listen to it, I come up with something different. Right.
It's like that.
Yeah, so this is why it hit me so differently today, because it just played with my sort of hardwired conceptions of the album. I listened again today and I thought, I'm thinking this all wrong. So I would, do you know what? I would welcome anybody that's listening. Put it in the comments. Let's talk about it, because I want to talk about it.
Yeah,
because I think it's a really deep song. Yeah, like supremely deep, and there's something very very, very back to basics that I find with this song. When I say back to basics, like it's kind of like man and nature kind of feel that I've always gotten.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got too. Yeah,
and the fact that I think that aesthetic is helped by the title 12 Tribes, and so you are automatically brought back to that. But then
I'm thinking of starry skies and stuff, and when you can see like the Milky Way galaxy in the sky, you know, and light pollution.
Oh man, it's just it's an experience. Listen to it and then let's see what other people think. But what did you think about it? That's the main important thing.
Well, I wanted to ask you because I didn't really know what to think about it. Like I got the same kind of vibe, you know, like it gave me that natural kind of man feel, you know, and maybe it's inferred, like you said, from the song title. But yeah, that's what I kept imagining, you know, like a kind of time lapse of the sky, like the sky, starry kind of skies moving from night to to day and back to not so much even day. Mainly it's just night when I think of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's just the vibe the song put me in. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's quite a lengthy song.
I think it's like 5 minutes 48,
5 minutes
something
or
like that.
Yeah, and is he going throughout the whole thing? I can't even remember. Like, or is there like musical passages in there and stuff?
It's him, and then he'll have like a few bars chilling, and then he'll just continue. It's just, I can never remember. I know when I'm there and listening to it, I'm in a journey. Whereas when I come away from it, I'm like,
you're like, whoa, okay.
I don't know what idea to grasp onto. So yeah,
no, for sure. I think if it was the last song, then it may have been a bit more like longer lasting in my memory. But because there's like you're taking on that journey, and then another song, which all have these interchanging parts and moving musical moments. You're like, it's very hard to grasp. Like, it's what you said, to latch on to one idea.
Yeah. Because I didn't take any notes. Like, what I usually do is when we exchange albums, I will take notes on the album that you've given to me. Whereas I'm so sort of like big-headed, conceited, that I'm just like, oh yeah, well, it's my album. I totally remember it. And then
not after Big Pun, when you were like, oh, I remember this back to front, and then it was like, oh, do you remember this song? It's like,
yeah. So I listen. Yeah. So I do listen again now. But the thing is, even though I've listened again, I'm like, I don't remember exactly what he told. Like, I just remember it hitting me more today. It's just a very, very, just a very basic feeling song.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You feel something while you're in it. And then that's it.
It's kind of like being drunk, I guess. Like you're happy while you're in it.
Yeah.
And then like when you come away, you don't really feel like you remember what's going on. Like, I don't know if that's the right thing.
Potentially, because it can go different ways. Once you stop being drunk, you might be like, oh, I never want to do that again. Or you'd be like, yes, I want to do that again. So,
I was like, I want to do that all the time.
It might speak to the replayability of the song. But to wrap it up for this album, I gave it. I struggled with what I felt for this one. I want to give it a 6.5, just because it's not bad. There's definitely some good moments and stuff in there. But if we're factoring in how I felt about it, like in terms of resonating with me, this is the one that I probably felt to replay out of all the albums you've given to me. I kind of almost forgot about it after listening. So then it'll be like, oh shit, I need to listen to that. Whereas all the other albums have I've kind of lived with, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
It's just, they would just be part of the rotation, and I'd always find a moment to kind of be able to listen to them, and whether it's background or proper listening or whatever. This one, I kind of struggled to do that for some reason. It could be other factors. It could be because we just have a week and different things could happen within that week. Maybe if I gave it more time, it could change. But for now, I think I would give it a 6.5. And remember, these ratings aren't set in stone. They're just, music is fluid. Life is fluid. So so things can change. This could become like a 10. Probably not, but within I
was gonna say, dude,
probably not. I'm just being nice, but or I'm just being extreme for the sake of argument. But so top 5, I would go with Time, Another Day. That's the Time. That's the one with Ursula, right? Yeah. Hold It Down, Something Nothing. And then Les Fleurs, I don't know.
Le Fleur, the flower in French, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I realized. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I read the lyrics to that one.
That is a wonderful, wonderful sounding song. I love that.
It builds and it sounds better as it goes on.
Yeah, and then it goes on a totally different journey and stuff, and then it comes back, and you're like, "Oh, this is beautiful." Yeah, honestly, it's one of the albums I've listened to so many times. But yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so that was Creating Patterns. That's the name of the album.
Yeah.
By 4. When you first gave it to me, I was I don't know if there's a hip hop group called Ugly Heroes on Mellow Music Group. I think they're on that. I have been meaning to check them out, and so I thought when you gave this to me, I didn't think about it properly. Because if anyone remembers from the last episode, I had to rush at the end. I had to bounce, and so when you gave me the exchange, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I've been meaning to check them out. Cool. I just heard the hero part, and then when I looked it up and I saw the front cover, I was like, huh?
This guy sidebarred me.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this?
He's done me a kipper.
Yeah, but it's cool. It was interesting. It was a nice little
man.
Kind of, diversion or whatever. Right, should we get into exchange number 2?
Yeah.
Of the day, which is I gave you by the almighty, the ever-present, I just love these guys so fucking
really
much. Yes.
Right, okay, cool.
The new collective, the new killers on the block in the whole fucking scene. These guys will rip your favorite rappers. Griselda. What would Sheen do? aka WWCD.
Yeah,
dropped
boy.
in 2019, I think. 2019.
Indeed.
Feels like last year, but it was 2019. do. Griselda. That's one of their ad libs.
Yeah.
So, what was the other ad lib that they do? It's just boom, 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 boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah, I can't do it. But yeah, you just hear that. They actually, Westside drops that when he actually does have a gun lyric. So
yeah.
When that clocked for me, I was like, okay, that adds another layer. That's good. It's not just random.
There's this album. Okay.
Very interested. Yes, let's go into this.
Let's go. Right. So my first exposure to these guys was Benny the Butcher, right?
Yep.
So I found him all by myself, and I remember I said
well
to
done,
my
David.
mate, yeah, I know. I said to my mate Chris, "Have you heard of this guy called Benny the Butcher?" And he was like, "Dude,
You're sleeping.
Where have you been?" And I'm like, "I've been working, bruh." Anyway, I've been on that grind, bruh.
The ultimate comeback.
Yeah, exactly. No, but
no. Yeah.
So I went into this album thinking, well, I like Benny, like he's awesome, and it wouldn't even offend me if the other two, like Conway the Machine and Westside Gun, wouldn't even offend me if they weren't even that good.
Okay, interesting.
However, I mean, right, without even going into the tunes, so there's only a couple of songs that musically grabbed me straight away. Only a couple, I mean 2. But the thing is, the music isn't. That's not the focus of the album. The album focus is Griselda themselves, and when I sort of got past the music, I just listened to the way that they flowed together.
Yeah. And
there are genuine moments of just amazing. Like, it's just brilliant. Like I'm gonna. Oh, do you know what? I've got some lyrics somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, my days. So, oh my goodness. Let's try and find it. Because I closed the computer, it's screwed me over. So, here we go. So this is on Chef Dreads. Yeah, man, track number 2. Oh man, come on, where are you? I just found it and I've just flipping lost it again. Damn it.
Did you have them saved somewhere?
Here, no, I've got them.
Okay.
Here we go. So it says, so this is oh my days, who is it? This is quality podcasting. Yeah, this is Westside Gun. So he says, Bushmaster with RAF straps, knock your shoes off. Airhole tech blew off, no screw off. Headshot up close, just Don blew off. And then Conway the Machine comes in. Like, I pull Coupe off with 2 bitches in my new loft. Diamonds and tennis change, VVS and New Cross. Bring your biggest gun, N-word, and we can have a shoot off. Only hit 3 N-words, but shit, I knocked 2 off. And it's just the way that like West Side Gun rhymes like on, gone, shoes off, screw off, blew off. And then you've got Conway the Machine coming in with new loft, new cross, shoot off, 2 off. I was like, and it's just the way it's the thing with these guys is that what I find is they're not pretending. Okay, they are what they say they are. It's like Ron Seal does exactly what they say on the tin. And the one thing that I've found is that all of these rappers, they kind of remind me of somebody else, but they're unique enough to stand out in my like estimations. So what I mean by that is Benny reminds me of The Game. The reason I say that is the timbre and also the way he delivers his lines. Every time The Game raps, like I believe what The Game's saying.
Oh, every time. I
don't hear like there is no lie there. There's no posturing.
To the point that when I met him once, like backstage, it was like a meet and greet thing. Yeah, it wasn't special. It was just a meet and greet thing. You got like a few seconds, and they would take a picture with like me and my mate. And yeah, to that point, I was shit scared of him when I met him. Yeah. Like, and my mate was as well. We were saying afterwards, we were like, "Oh man, what were we gonna say to him? What should we say to him?" Blah blah blah. As soon as you actually see him in person, plus his music, plus how we just saw him act on stage, and it was like, yeah, it's pretty best just don't say anything. I got better vibes from his bodyguard. Not saying he's bad vibes, but just I was scared to fuck. Yeah. Like as soon as I saw him, I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna stand here, smile, take the picture.
Yeah, and get the hell out of Dodge.
Not looking him in the eye, just in case.
Oh, mate, you know, I just get this sense of no nonsense. I rap, therefore I am. That's it, right?
I rap, therefore I am. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no posturing. I find that West Side Gun reminds me of AZ. I'm not going to call him AZ, but AZ. You know,
why not?
Because Z is English, Z is American. Okay.
That's his name, bro.
All right, AZ. He sounds like AZ.
That's like saying JZ.
I did actually call him that for a time, but I'm an idiot.
Oh god.
Well, I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan anyway, but AZ. I can hear a lot of similarities. The reason why is
the vocal tone, right?
It's just because of the tone. It's up there. It's above
very
the beat.
Fluid, higher. Yeah. Higher tone voice.
It's almost, you know, I was going to reference like, you know, Ghostface, but we always talk about him, so I thought AZ. We haven't spoken about him yet.
Yeah. That's a good shout.
And I mean, Conway the Machine is somebody that fascinates me. So after listening to the album a couple of times, I checked them out, like just doing freestyles. Yeah. And I was looking at Conway the Machine, and I was like, "What is up with this guy?"
Isn't it?
Yeah. He was shot in the back of the head, in the neck, in like 2013 or 2012, something like that. Yeah. But the thing is, he doesn't. When you listen to the album, you don't. You hear that he's got a, you know, but you don't. He doesn't sound like that. Like, do you know what I mean? He doesn't sound like he's paralyzed down half of his face. And, you know, I listened to, and this put Conway in like a completely different light for me, because it made me think, you know, he's so authentic in the way that he raps. And also, like, the timing of his breathing, you can hear him, he'll deliver a line and then you hear, it's almost like a comma and a full stop to every single line that he delivers. I've never heard anything like that, you know.
Conway's something special, man.
Yeah, his delivery is incredible, right? Do you know, I was going to put this later on in my tangent, but like I'll just say it now. I think Conway, for me, is if you've got an ensemble cast on a song, so Busta Rhymes' Touch It, for example.
Sure,
If Inspector Deck is not available,
you get
Conway the Machine is your opener. He is such a good opener. It's honestly, he's incredible. What's the song that he opens on? Oh man, it is Cruiserweight Coke.
Yeah, I love that song. Yeah,
my goodness, just listen to the way that he opens. And he should be the opener for every single Griselda song. I would never get bored of him. I think he's fan-freaking-tastic. And the thing is, as well, it also, we'll sort of bring it back to Kanye, but it always reminds me of, like Through the Wire, car crash, and he's still rapping, and he's got the braces on, and he's still in pain, and he's still doing the thing that he loves.
Sure.
Conway, shot in the back of the head, paralyzed down half of his face, and he's rapping like an absolute legend. And it's like he's had probably one of the most debilitating things to happen to him, yet he's still doing the thing that he loves. So I looked in the mirror and I was like, David, so what's stopping you, you idiot? Like, do you know what I mean? I find that he's a very, very, very inspirational character, to be honest, an inspirational person, not a character, because there's no frills with these guys. There is no frills. They just want to rap. And the thing is, this album, I listened to it maybe about 8 times, I think.
Wow.
And the thing is, the first couple of times I listened to it, I was just like, yeah, I'll sit with it or whatever. Yep. Then I started to like it. Then I've started to love it. Now, I think with just 1 week, I'm like very, I'm very, very passionate about these guys. Like,
it's so weird, isn't it? That's what happened to me.
I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I'm describing why. It's just, I just think that there's just no bullshit. That's what it is. They do exactly what it says on the tin. I also think that with they've got a cool name, Griselda. I don't even know what a Griselda is. It's a name, apparently.
It perfectly fits their their sound as well, right? Griselda, it's like grizzly,
because they are grizzly. And like, that's another thing about the album, because it's the Beat Butcher that produced the album, right? And this is New York, right?
Yeah, Buffalo. So it's like north. It's like New York State.
Okay,
so not New York City, I think.
So it's a little bit. I think New York State's north, isn't it? Well, I don't know.
North, like upstate New York. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know. Maybe.
So I found that with like New York and like that sort of East Side rap, there is all I can tell you is like on each song there's like fuzz. There's an actual, I used to have this like bass pedal, and you can make it like fuzzy and like dirty and gritty, and you add a little bit
grit
of,
on these beats.
Do you know what I mean? It's like chewing gravel, like that's on some of it.
That's a perfect way of putting it.
But like it's, do you know, like when you've bought some strawberries on the last day, the day of expiry or whatever, and you forget about them and you leave them in the fridge, and a couple of days later they got a bit of fuzz on it. This is what this is. This is what this album is. I mean, my goodness. And so Conway and Westside Gunn are brothers, right? And Benny's their cousin.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
I think that's it.
Yeah, they're all family somehow, basically.
Holy moly. And that is, it's so prevalent, like in the way that they just intermingle on every song. And I was listening to Griselda on, I think, the Sway show, and Westside Gunn was saying, I sat with the Beat Butcher and, just watched him make, cook up the tunes.
Yeah.
And, I sat there, for about 10 minutes after, and I wrote my bars, whereas Benny and Conway just came in and just did their stuff and then left.
Yeah.
And I get that feeling from this. Like, there is no nonsense. I don't feel like there's any time wasted. I just feel that they just went into the booth, did it, song was done, and they left, and it was on to the next one. They don't hang around.
Have you checked out, like, even just looked at what the rest of their catalog looks like?
Yeah.
Because my days. There is so much Griselda music that you think, I'm not going to be able to get into all this, and yet I only have a few left to check out.
Oh, cool.
I caught the bug, and
Yeah.
I was like you. I just became super passionate somehow about these guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Why? Like, like there was a good like week or so where it was straight up just Griselda. I didn't want to listen to anything else. I just wanted that grimy, murky shit. I just wanted, like, they each have their own, and Conway, they have their own like mixtape series. So Westside has the Hitler Wears Hermes series. I've listened to all of them. Then he has one like called Fly God is an Awesome God or something. There's two of them. Listen to them. And I'm like, how are you making with Westside Gunn released 3 albums or 3 projects last year, I think.
I saw that.
Yeah, and the most recent one, no, so there was like a proper album called Pray for Paris. Really, really good. Fly God is an Awesome God too. That was cool. Just like soul sample loops and him just doing his things, whatever. And then there was one towards the end of the year, which I can't remember the name for, Who Made the Sunshine. And at first I was like, oh yeah, whatever. And then like it was like a microcosm of the entire Griselda thing, where as soon as it hit, it's all I wanted to listen to.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about these guys. Like, they make so much music, but it's not disposable and it's not trash. It's somehow they just, you know, when you talk about artists taking time between releases and stuff, these guys feel like they have this pent up energy and kind of just creativity, or they have a story that they've been holding on to for so long that you just give them a beat and they'll just bam. It's like they have to get it out of their system.
Yeah.
And they just do it. And it's so authentic that people resonate with it. That's why there's no like dip in quality. Or so you would think with that many releases. But mate, like check, if you're really into Conway like that, you should check out his GOAT series, his Everybody Is Food series.
I've mapped out just about everything from, because one of the biggest compliments that I can give these guys is that I would listen to all of their like individual stuff. Like I don't even need to listen to, you know, I'm impressed enough by all of them that I would invest time in each and every one of their individual catalogs. And that's something that I was looking at today. I was like, yep, cool, brilliant. I am sorted for the next few weeks.
No, it's really cool, isn't it? Because you go into them as individuals and you're like, wow, there's so much to listen to. That's excluding like the solo like loose tracks that they've thrown out. They have a song with Primo, I'm pretty sure they do.
Yes, they do. I saw that. Yeah,
it's great. You mentioned Beat Butcher and Derringer. Those are the two like main Griselda producers, and a lot of their beats are like sample based, loop based kind of stuff on a lot of their stuff. But this one, because it was their debut album, like their proper album, they actually went in and did no samples, right? And yet somehow still retains that gritty feel. Like that blew. I need to go fact check that, because I'm pretty sure I heard someone say that on something I was watching on YouTube, that they were saying that the producers didn't use any samples, so they didn't have to go through all that clearing, like sample clearing stuff, because this was going to be on a bigger level, right? And like a Shady Records thing, right? So they didn't want to go through the whole clearing samples and stuff. And they did it no samples. I was like, what? Like,
because it sounds like
it's all samples.
Right? And if that's if that's them just being able to cook stuff up on the fly and like make it, you know, it's I suppose that's where like one of the drawbacks of the album is, for me, is musically, you know, I love hip hop and I love being grabbed musically. I suppose it's with any genre really, like we all like to be grabbed by different things, and you know, I'm always, you know, where my brain goes, where my ears go is always the music first and then the vocals, whereas this album, the protagonists, you know, the main heroes of the story were so, what's the word? Were so sort of captivating.
Yeah, they were so front and center.
Yeah, and so the music, I was absolutely fine with the music taking
backstage,
the backstage, and just sort of filling up, providing you the nice little, the nice little shelter, and letting these guys just provide the bombs.
Mate. I love the way they talk. I love the way when they talk about, it's like the whole Wu-Tang thing when they talk about, I've got some darts in the chamber. I've got some stuff. I've got some. We smoke other MCs. We got this shit cooking. I just love the way that they talk about it. Like, we got some joints in the chamber. It's just like it's weirdly like poetic in its way. Well, the whole Shaolin thing and everything, and Griselda have that too, right? And there's just something. They're like this new movement. It's like
they epitomize sort of like tribal sort of battle rap as well. Like they epitomize. Last week I was saying that I like it when we can get behind the rapper, like if they're kind of like Robin Hood kind of characters, underdogs and stuff. I get that from these guys.
Because they are kind of the underdogs.
One of them's been shot in the blimmin' back of the head, for crying out loud. Like,
honestly, I saw a video of him before that happened. Like the other day, I saw a video of him in 2012. I was like, wow. Like, I'm so used to seeing you with your mouth. Like, I remember when I had the same experience as you. Saw him for the first time actually doing his thing, and I was like,
what the hell's wrong with him, sort of thing.
What the fuck? Like, he's literally talking out the side of his mouth.
His
mouth looks like it's on the side of his face. And I'm like, it's like that's why I think him and 50 Cent is such a good pairing on that song.
I mean, right,
similar story, right?
That's it. And this is why I will always, Conway's the dude for me. I think he's a very inspirational guy. I
was going to ask you, like, who's your favorite?
I was hoping you wouldn't. Because I think they're all. I went in thinking Benny.
Yeah, he's like the obvious choice, right?
I wonder if it's West Side Gun.
West Side Gun used to be my favorite.
But the thing is, Conway is so good. Like, I don't know. Like, I always flip flop. Like, Benny, I think, is the most accessible one. As in, you've heard other voices like him, like The Game, for example, right? So, cool.
Sure.
Conway is, I don't know, is he sneakily the best one?
I think so, because I've seen people recently, because of the kind of more projects that he's been dropping and stuff. He has a little mini album with The Alchemist called Lulu. He has one with this guy called Big Ghost called, I can't remember what it's called, but he dropped a second version of that earlier this year. The first one's really good. I haven't listened to the second one yet. Sphere of something, I can't remember. But he, like, each project, people are like, yo, like, Conway might be that guy, like, who's actually, when you talk about your favorite or the best in the camp right now, like, it feels like you can pick either of them, any of the three. And people be like, okay. Good
this
answer.
is the thing, they're so accomplished. They're all so different as well. But I think together they
work it is so well, right?
And I think it's because of the familial tie as well. They are just, you can tell that they're completely at ease with each other, and they see each other's perspective, even though they sound completely different.
That's the cool part, right? How do they sound completely different? Like, when you get crews, sometimes you get like the figurehead and maybe the one guy who's like the offshoot, and he's like the lyrical guy, or he can make bangers, but then everyone else is kind of like not. Like, I hate to say it, but like in the ASAP crew, like in ASAP Mob, like you have like Rocky, he's like the front man. Ferg, he can make bangers. Thing is, there are other good guys in there, like ASAP Nast and 12E, but they just haven't. There's something that's not letting them break out as much. Whereas with these guys, it's like everyone's a solid member of the team. Everyone's got their own, like you said, you want to check out their solo stuff. There's some crews you don't really care about some of those guys, like
it's like
solo material.
It's like Slaughterhouse, for example. The first time I heard them,
all four of them. Who do I pick?
I've got tunes for days, because again, they're all
that's
absolutely
cool thing,
solid, right? So you just you just go off in whatever direction, right? Slaughterhouse are just unreal. But these guys, I know, but these guys are just flipping fantastic. I'm just going to quickly run through the album, right? So we got Marcello. So I was just like, thanks, Raekwon. It's nice to hear you again.
That's nice because he used to I skip that song like now because I'm like I don't need to hear it twice.
Oh, yeah,
but like
no. Yeah, exactly. But then you've got Chef Dreads. I mean, it's just it for me. It's just got a Wu-Tang feel, and also I've put on here like Benny steals my attention on this one. Then you got Marcel, love the tune. It's just old school. And West Side Gun really shines on that. Then you got Cruiserweight Coke, which is, I mean, this Conway's tune, like it just doesn't. For me, it just doesn't get better than him on that.
On Cruiserweight Coke.
Yeah.
I love the way Benny comes in.
Oh man, he's so good as well. But
like, who starts that one? West Side or
Conway the Machine?
Conway the Machine. Because Conway's very like methodical, like line by line by line. It's not too much flexing that he needs to do. Whereas Benny can come in and just be like, Griselda the label, but you people know better to play with us, and I'm gonna be stacking them way up soon as I feel like this rap shit don't pay enough. And it's just like, whew, okay, all right.
Like, dude, why are you bringing the smoke? Like, we're already on fire.
Yeah, this track, we've smoked it enough. The blunt is like is gone, right? We don't like, but they're seeing something else, right? That's what it feels like. They're seeing something else. Yeah, but yeah, man.
Next track 5 is Freddie Hotspot, and this is where I put piano music, Undefeated.
I love that dark piano's would you call it down tempo or down key or whatever you call it? Minor key?
It's minor keys, yeah.
Minor key,
yeah. It's not. It's just sad. That's what it is. Like major keys are like major, happy, and then you've got like minor keys which are like, meh.
Yeah, they're a bit down,
but like
along this kind of beat.
Oh, it's just fantastic. Just creates like an overall
sounds. Oh man,
yeah, it's amazing,
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, Dr. Birds, I just put Wu-Tang in capital. I said Ghostface vibes from West Side Gun. Westface, you know.
They should do a collab album. Just call it that. Ghostface Gun. West Side Killer. That would work. Yeah.
The thing is,
West Side Gun has an album called Supreme Blientele.
That's awesome.
Is really fucking good. Yeah. What were you going to say?
I was actually going to say that there are sort of like weird, creepy undertones with this song, though, because of the xylophone, because of on Dr. Birds.
Oh, Dr. Birds. Okay, yeah.
It's got this like this little xylophone, just a couple of notes.
Oh, yeah. Dun, that one.
Yeah. See, the thing is as well, right? With the music, maybe I've been a bit too dismissive, but there's always this sense of like malevolent danger. Like there's this like real threat, and it's just like it pervades throughout. Like I'll get to it later. The Old Groove is pretty moody, and I said that Benny seems like proper honest on this one. I said also like I love the change up, but give me drums, and then they gave me drums in the last like on the fade out. I was like, no, give me drums. Like,
that's probably about as mainstream as it's gonna get, or light-hearted.
Oh my goodness, that was the only little spot of light that you're gonna get in this. Great.
So we're human as well. You know? We have
I mean,
these nice sunshine moments, but now it's back to business.
Yeah, and then the next one's Scotty's, and then I put who invited Korn to it. So what amazed me about this, like I really thought of the band Korn, because basically Korn would have like hip hop drums, hip hop bass, and then on either side would be the guitarist Head and Monkey. And what they would do is they made these really weird sounds, like these really sort of discordant off-key sounds, and then they'd like bring it all home with the hard rock and all of that, right? Sure. But with this song, I was like, this is where Korn got it from. This is the Korn aesthetic right here. creepy guitar sounds. It just
creepy is the right word. Yeah,
because it's really good. And I said that, and I've written here, I believe these guys are really going to shoot me. Like
yeah. You know what's about the game? Like not looking them in the eye. I don't want to be in the same room as these guys. I want to just be like, look, I love your music from afar.
Oh yeah, type it to him on the internet. Fine.
Yeah, or through the window, I put up a sign like "big fan."
Yeah, huge fan. But I'm not getting near you. They are.
I don't want to say the wrong thing. Yeah, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to look you in the eye and make you feel that I looked you in the eye the wrong way. Because what am I gonna say? What am I gonna do? And there's 3 of them.
Yeah,
not even just the 3 of them.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, that's I'll come to that at the end. KaeDee. I mean, I just that's the interlude, track 9, and they say that they're gonna blow your fucking face off.
Blow your fucking face off. Yeah.
And it's one. Like, yep, you are.
Like, at this point, I believe you. Yeah, for no reason.
Straight up. Mm-hmm. Like I feel that dread that you've been pumping into my ears. Like I feel it now. City on the Map. I said this song exudes danger. It's the best song on the album for me.
Oh wow, okay.
Especially, it's the best tune on the album for me.
All right.
And I said that jazz drums for the win. Like especially when like you can hear them twinkling on the ride.
Yeah.
It's not hi-hat business. It's on the ride.
It's on the ride. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Like I love that aesthetic.
Yep.
Is it Lowry? Lowery?
Yeah, Lowry.
Lowry. I mean, yeah, it's cool. Like, yeah, fine. Nice little way to end the album. And then you got the bonus track, which is Eminem on there. It's called Bang.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I know that they're accomplished rappers and stuff like that, and then Eminem comes and spoils the party at the end because he's so good. Like, I'm not saying that he buries like the other 3, like not at all. Like, absolutely not.
No. I think Conway could give him a run for his money.
But the thing is, I've never heard Eminem rap like that before. I don't think there's not many. There's not many songs where I've heard him rap like that.
And on those that beat as well.
And it works so well because like sometimes he's ahead of the beat, sometimes he's behind it. So I just don't know where I stand with the way that he raps.
Yeah.
You know, and
there's a leaked version of that song where Eminem has a different version of his verse after the Nicki Minaj part. It doesn't slip into the trap beat at the end. It just continues on, and in this version as well, he doesn't add much to the beat, so it's similar. The beat is quite similar as it was at the beginning, because this originally was a Conway song featuring Eminem, and it was going to be on Conway's album.
Cool.
But then they added same with the 50 Cent song. That's why it's just Conway and 50 Cent. But then they added it to this album. But then obviously, so this is obviously the bonus track. But there's a leaked version, where Eminem goes on for a bit longer after the Nicki Minaj part. I think that version is better. Like, if you think this one's good, I think that one's better. But I know why. I think I know why he took it off, because he takes more shots of like Joe Budden and his media channels and stuff. And but his rhyming is just so good on it. And
I can imagine.
He says something about all the helicopters, you're gonna need propellers or something like that. And there's so many good lines. And he says, like, in a beat up trailer, he keeps that rhyme scheme going, and then he lands it on R.I.P. Mac Miller. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, bruv, the way so good. Like, I understand why he took it off, but I'm like, part of me is like, nah, I want that mega mix with Conway, Westside, Benny, and then the original Eminem verse without all the changes. I do like this song. I do like this version as well. But after hearing the leaked one, I'm like, oh man, you fucking spazzed out on that one. Like, you killed that shit. Fuck what anyone else thinks. Fuck anyone's feelings. I wish you had just kept that version, but I understand why. You know, so
for real.
Yeah, but yeah, like I think he did good on that. But it's cool that he was kind of at the end, and
and he didn't take the shine.
That's what I was trying to say.
Off that body of work. I mean, like, to be honest, I thought when you first gave me this album, like, to score this album, I thought it was going to be sort of quite low because it didn't grab me that much. As the days have gone by, I mean, I think you can tell. I think you can tell. I mean, just how I opened my part of the show. Like, these guys are amazing.
I'm so
I
glad
genuinely think they're fantastic. And I've said it already. You know, the biggest compliment that I can give these guys is the fact that I would invest time into their own individual discographies. Yeah,
sure.
And there was something as well. I think it's in the Lowry sort of like ending interlude thing, where he says you can't give anyone anything other than your intentions. I think that's the line, and it always brings me back to what my uncle Bernie, right? He's a complete. This guy's a ledge. And he said to me, I think this is in August 2005. He said, "There is nothing more valuable you can give somebody than your time. So invest it wisely." And so when I heard that on the album, you know, your intentions and that, I was like, "Oh, right, okay, cool. They're singing from the same hymn sheet. I should listen to that." Sure. I think, you know, in compliments and in keeping with the theme of that ending of the album, like, I think these guys are fantastic. They're
glad.
Good.
I'm so glad you got it like that. I was thinking like, oh, I wonder, maybe was this the best album to introduce you to? Because I had a couple that I could have swapped in and out.
Yeah.
Right. If you love Conway, like the way that you're talking about him, listen to his Fear of a God album. That is one of the best hip hop albums I heard last year, and just in general.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm in.
So, David, I'm telling you, I can't.
Full name now. I know. I better listen.
I can't is that the word? I can't overstate. How fucking good this album is.
Okay.
I mean, the Conway one, like, bruv, it's like you hear Conway's mixtapes, you hear him on here, and then you're like, well, what's he going to do for an album? Is he just going to do kind of the same thing, but it's just an album now? No, you can hear the difference.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? It's like it enters the mainstream arena of hip hop, but it compromises nothing, right?
Brilliant.
I was like, how did you do that? You're showing, these guys are showing that you can do that. You can remain authentic and be yourself, still enter the arena, right?
So they're doing the Busta Rhymes thing of making sure that everything remains raw.
Yeah, everything remains raw. Absolutely. That's how it should be, right? For MCs going in, right? Not how they fucked up Slaughterhouse, you know. They didn't do that to Griselda. Thank fuck. I'm talking about Shady Records, right?
Yeah.
Thank fuck. I can't imagine Griselda making like a Welcome to Our House type album with those beats and that. It would just be so jarring. I think Shady Records know. I think every label that wants to get with these guys knows that it's like their appeal is their sound.
Leave them to their own devices. Just leave them alone. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, they've just been dropping like music off, like albums after mixtapes and joint stuff and all that sort of shit, and then they come out with this, and you're like, how have you set the bar high again? Man. Griselda.
I mean, so, you know, I always think when I'm listening to these albums, would I recommend it to you know, other people? And I mean, this, I'd recommend this in a flipping heartbeat. But the thing is, I wouldn't. It's so normally, you know, I would say, you know, listen to, you know, Sky Zoo and Pete Rock's album, because like I enjoy the rhymes, but I love the music as well. The music
it's accessible in both of those.
Absolutely. If you don't like one, you'll like the other, and vice versa. But with this, if you just want good MCs, top of their game, and they're a unit and they're together. If you want to hear a brilliant sort of was going to say coercion. That's not the word. Like a coexistence between three unique rappers who share blood. And I think that is so prevalent in the album. I think that's so important to their aesthetic. That familial bond, you can feel it. It's almost tangible. If you want to listen to something that, you know, family made together, this is your number one stop. Honestly,
this is so gritty and raw. There's something about it. You know, when they said like in the Wu-Tang albums, when they have in Enter the Wu-Tang, where they have that skit where they're talking on the radio show, and Method Man or whoever it is describing each member and introducing each member, and then they say at one point, I think it's Raekwon, and he's saying, well, we fill a gap that people want more of our stuff. It doesn't sound like it should work, but it does work. It's hitting people in the right place, in the right part of their soul. You know, people want that raw and rugged shit, despite what other people are saying. Griselda is doing that now. Like TDE have gone quiet, Dreamville have gone quiet this year. Griselda have not stopped. Griselda have become. Griselda is like that guy that comes out of nowhere when you think you can take a break, and has been bubbling for a while, and then you're just like, whoa. When I come back, shit, there's this new contender this new person I have to contend with, this new force to be reckoned with, right? I think that they're gonna be that. They're gonna, you know, I think you could now discuss Griselda versus TDE. Griselda versus,
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, all of these collectives, right? Because it's like they're in the arena. Yeah. You can be like, okay, let's pit all the MCs in Griselda against Kendrick, Schoolboy, Absol, J-Rock, whoever, and it's not like a surefire win on any, like, really on either side.
Oh,
that's a tough one, right? It's like placing Slaughterhouse against TDE. Who's gonna out rap who?
I think I know.
What, for Slaughterhouse?
I think it's Slaughterhouse.
It's Slaughterhouse. Yeah. Although I don't know.
But the thing is,
I don't know.
Schoolboy, I've said it before. Schoolboy makes music that ages very well. Absol is of the time, and Kendrick Lamar is timeless.
That's right.
Whereas
J-Rock's just a killer. But
just straight up mo. But the thing is, like, on the Slaughterhouse, like, you just got to give the respect to Royce. Really, he's he's a beast.
Fucking incredible, man.
Yeah,
King Crooked, or Crooked Eye, how he used to be called. Absolute fucking killer, man.
He makes big beats as well, like big songs. He's Ronsil. When you put the name or the word king in your name, like, you expect big bombastic stuff, and
that's what you get.
Boy, does he deliver.
I love Joel Ortiz. He doesn't get spoken about enough.
So I remember he's one of your guys that you've always said, hey David, man, you got to check him out. And I'm like, I know, I've always heard the name, and I've never like really gone into. I've always found other rappers to go into. Like now I've got these guys. So thanks for that.
I've just added to the pool.
Do you know what I mean? Oh geez, I've got to put a score as well.
I'm in the top 5.
Don't.
Do you want to know something else that will blow your mind potentially about Westside Gunn? Is that he never intended to be a rapper. He did it because I think Conway was in hospital. So he just filled the gap.
So he fell into it.
He just was like, you know what? Sick. He was like, I'll just keep it going then. And he wanted to be in fashion. You can see when you see his interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
He's in fashion.
I was like, he's a very well-dressed man.
Yeah. That's his thing. But he makes albums. Like, he actually will rap, and he raps well. And he was just doing it to fill the gap while Conway was in hospital.
Like, in all fairness, his vocal delivery is, I thought it would get like jarring. At no point did it jar me. Like, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh man, that's AZ. Oh my goodness me. Like, that's I found like he's a throwback to like to good times, I guess. And so so the first time I heard AZ was on Life's a Bitch, Nas. And
same.
And so that song always gives me summer vibes and good vibes. Sure. Like, do you know what I mean?
Even though the content isn't really.
Even though the content, exactly. Well, that whole album reminds me of Summertime, even though it's gritty and, in subject matter, etc., etc.
Sure.
So when I did listen to West Side Gun the first time, I was already coming from a place of just love, just immediately, oh, he sounds like AZ. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. I'm on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna love this guy.
And then it just grew from there. And so
I love voices in hip hop, like certain types of voices. I think we talked about one time when I was like, oh, I like hearing like female MCs because of the higher tone. So there's certain types of voices I like, and interesting voices like Danny Brown and people like that, and ODB. West Side Gun is one of those interesting voices.
Yeah, and also guys like Ian Kelly, for example.
Oh yeah.
Very different. Just you wouldn't really hear it. Who else has got that? Someone we haven't really brought up, like Mos Def, so Mos alternative, Def. So different to what we do.
Got a great voice.
I really like his voice. I really do. There's a song. Oh, what was the song? Oh, it's called Black Radio, and I cannot remember what album it's on. Right, and it's just this lovely piano, and it's just him singing. It might even be Madlib. Anyway, I'll do it on one of our Monday motivations or whatever. Sure. But yeah, right. Hold on. Score,
and top 5.
Score will be. I'll give this an 8.
Shit.
8.
Yes.
See, the thing is, why is it not higher? Do I think this is a classic album? It's close, but I don't know if it is.
We have to see what happens in it. We have to see what happens in the genre.
The thing is, as I've said, with D'Angelo and stuff, we knew at the time. We just knew. It felt like our secret. We knew it was a classic. I don't get that vibe, but I do think it's a very special album.
It's a special album, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a real sort of. It's kind of like cement drying, right? It's just solidifying awesomeness. That's just what this is. And so, their next album hopefully is going to be the next block up on their tower that they're just going to build upon.
It's just, going to build their legacy, kind of.
Yeah.
In that sense, it will be like a classic for Griselda because it will be like the first proper mainstream building block, I guess.
Correct. Yeah.
That way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to be important to the game.
Definitely, man.
Definitely. I get that vibe. I think they're.
Griselda's the one, man.
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan now.
I'm so fucking glad.
No, thanks for recommending it to me, man. It was really it was really, really cool to listen to it. It was nice to grow with it. It was nice to kind of be at odds with it at first, and then really sort of let it really live with the album. And it just gets better the more you listen to it. Do you
find that happens, that when you have music or art that you're not as into at the beginning, but when it hits you later, sometimes you end up loving that more than the stuff that maybe you loved from first listen or first kind of point of consumption? I feel that sometimes when it takes time to grow on me, I end up loving it more long term, or on it much more deeply than I did to the album that I loved straight away. From first listen, I still love that album, not all the time, but sometimes I find when I kind of listen to an album and think, this is cool, but then over time it starts to gradually build into something that I'm like, oh man, no, actually I fucking love this shit. That love sometimes is deeper.
So
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I'll use this example. It's kind of like when you have a plant, right? So you found the seed in the garden or whatever, and you've put compost. You've put that seed in the compost in your little pot and all that, and you water it slowly, and you watch that guy grow, right? And you feel a sense of pride. But then somebody gets you flowers or whatever from a shop, and you're just instantly like, those flowers smell wonderful. Do you know what I mean? That's great. And then 4 days later, they're dead, they're brown, or whatever. Whereas you still water in that little pot plant that you found the seed for. And after you look at it and it grows a little bit more, grows a little bit more into the most beautiful flower you've ever seen. And I think that's kind of like what music kind of is. It's big, shiny, and all of that, and your attention is kind of taken immediately by that, by the spectacle. but then it is the stuff that you sit with and you live with. I think that's the key aspect to music.
Sure.
When you live with something, and that that when time reveals to you like hidden facets of the song, that's when you really connect to it, because maybe you weren't ready to hear it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You weren't ready to hear it. I think I remember I listened to CeeLo Green's album back in the day, and I remember I first heard it, I thought, oh, this is art house and all of that.
Right.
And then like some stuff happened, and then I heard that album again, and I was just like, oh my god, like it's different,
Sure,
and, it's kind of like when what I said with Kofi Stone's album. I wish it came out 10 years ago. I needed this album then. I would have, if I'd have listened to it then, I'd be talking to you saying, KaeDee, it's a classic.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird how music hits. But anyway,
I was going to mention Kofi Stone. I was going to say he was one of the exceptions to the rule, where I loved it on first listen and it's just continued to grow.
Yeah, I was listening to it again the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest compliment I can give Kofi Stone. Like, he's in my rotation. I'm never deleting that album. Like, it's going to be on my phone like forever. Forever. Yeah. And also, I'm not going to delete this album either. Griselda, they're here to stay. What a wonderful.
Boom! Fucking killed that shit, man.
Do you know? I was like getting a bit tired of it. Like the first time I heard it, and then now I just flipping love it.
It's
like,
so addictive. Yeah, it's so addictive, man. Oh man! If you check out West Side's solo catalog, you're gonna get a lot of that.
Listen,
there's one particular project he goes overdrive like.
I've got all the time in the world for that dude, man. I got all the time in the world for it. So
check it all out, man.
All right, cool. So shall we do our swapsies?
You haven't given your top 5 yet.
Oh shoot!
I was about to say you haven't given your score, but you gave it an 8, right?
No, I gave it an 8, and I think that would change. I think that'll be like 8.5 in a year or a 9.
Sick.
So I would say
top 5.
All right. Chef Dreads. Cruiserweight cake.
Coke.
Cake? Coke.
These guys are doing some good cake.
I can't even read my own writing. I'm left-handed, right? Like, yeah, man. Cruiserweight cake. Because, idiot. Right. Okay.
The butcher coming, but yeah.
I like Scotty's. I like City on the Map, and is it May Store? Yeah.
May Store had a heavy beat, man.
Well, oh man, is it Keisha Plum that's on that as well?
Yeah. She's like their in-house poet.
I had never heard of her before. I don't think, and I will check her out. Love her voice. So yeah. You know, the Griselda roster has kind of grown a little bit as well. Oh, so, sweet. Since
this came out. Yeah. So there's like 2 more editions. I think it's just these 2 more. A guy called Boldy James. He had a great album. Came out last year as well. He had 4 albums that came out last year. Jeez. Three of which I checked out. 2 of them are really fucking good. Cool. One of them was cool. The other one I haven't checked out, but apparently it's so good. It's like 5 years in the making with this particular producer.
Excellent. Okay,
so
cool.
It just happened to come out that year that he was really prolific. But he's signed to Griselda now. And then there's this female MC called Armani Caesar. She's really good as well.
I saw that name today. All right, cool. I'll check her out as well.
She's part of Griselda. So yeah, their roster is growing, and I hope it continues. I want Lloyd Banks to be on that fucking shit, because he's been in hiding. He's on. Griselda have a new soundtrack that came out recently, and he has a song on there, and it's so hard. And he's on Conway's album as well, on a Havoc beat, right? And oh my days, I want that guy to make more music, man. He's in my top 10. Like, come on, man. Banks, he's probably not hearing this, but please, I beg, get your mixtapes on streaming services, because his mixtapes were undefeated.
Really?
Lloyd Banks is a fucking killer. I want him to sign to Griselda.
That would be cool.
Come out of hiding, man. Come out of hiding, please.
Good old American Craig David.
Yeah, that's it. That's who he looks. Oh man, that's who he looks like.
Yeah, it's
wow.
It's uncanny.
Yeah. He's like his little brother who had to like kind of come along to the party. Turned out he could rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rap very well. Yeah, because I always thought that with like G Unit, I always thought that like Young Buck, I always really liked his cadence. I loved the way he like rapped.
Yeah.
But isn't it quite funny how, 50 was front and center, but Lloyd Banks was pretty much the best of the bunch.
Lloyd Banks was the guy in G Unit.
I would never have known, because I couldn't get past Craig David. I just couldn't get past it. So I just kept on expecting him to, drop in a 7 days. Yeah. It's another one. Craig David on the rise.
Yeah, imagine Banks over that kind of two-step kind of thing.
Oh,
so fucking weird, man. I hope he never does. But yeah, I mean, it might be good. But nah, Banks killed it. Banks killed the mixtape game like in 2009 onwards, and that stuff's not on streaming. It's so annoying. But he was back when MCs would like do remixes on their mixtapes.
Yeah,
Banks and Lil Wayne were the two main killers for that. Like, you could not fuck with Banks, man. Like,
Lil Wayne was once upon a time. I rated him so highly. The Carter 3 couldn't do anything wrong. That album was excellent.
That was a special one.
It was, yeah. That was on repeat that summer.
Have you heard any of his new albums?
I haven't listened to him since. Do you know what? I've lost touch with him.
He dropped a lot of dead weight, and then from 2018 onwards, he turned into a beast again.
Good. All right.
Yeah. Just fire. Just not all of it. He has this bad habit of just releasing 25 track albums. I'm like, you don't need to put all those. And then he's got deluxe versions of those albums as well. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to it. I don't give a fuck. Like, yes, you're back to rapping like a fucking beast, but I just need 10 or 12 songs. I know you can do it. Just stop being lazy. Sit down and just pick 10 or 12. Don't just be like, oh, I've got 25 songs on the hard drive. Bang. All of them. Nah, man, I don't want that. But yeah, Lil Wayne's back on his shit, man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll check him out. So
swaps.
Yeah, man. You go first. Yeah, you go first. Go on.
Okay, let me check the list, because I can't remember off the top of my head, because I added in Griselda last minute because of our conversation we had last time where we were talking about record labels. So I was like, okay, this is the time. This is the right time. Okay, which one should I pick? Part of me's thinking about what do I want to listen to again that maybe I haven't. I think I'm stuck between two. Okay, do you want someone from the UK or the US? US, okay, damn. So have you heard the album Forever Is a Mighty Long Time by Big Crit?
I think I have, but
no.
Do you know what? Let's just check quickly.
It's a double disc.
Because Big Crit I've heard a lot of, but
Big Crit is so underrated.
Yeah,
I fucking love his music, man.
Ooh.
If not, I have a backup.
Nah, man. I don't think I have.
Sick. All right. Big Crit. Forever Is a Mighty Long Time. Double disc album.
Forever Is a Mighty. Yeah, I haven't. I don't think so.
If you don't think so, you probably haven't. So,
yeah, I don't think so. Okay, cool.
That one out.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Again, my good mate has brought me over to that parish. I think I'm going to give you right, Fab 5 by Clear Soul Forces.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Clear Soul Forces. Anything. I'm down for it, man. 100%. All right. Stick, man.
Yeah, man. We need to. Make sure this one's a good one. This is going to be a lengthy one next.
Yeah, next week. I mean, this one was about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Next week, these are two albums that I'm sure we're both gonna have a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah, big crit. I'm going to get on tomorrow, I think, because I'm going to need to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, it's different in. Okay, when we get to it, when we talk about lengthy albums, this one's slightly different in terms of how we address it in terms of the length, but we'll get to that. But yeah, so, your one was Fab Five.
Yeah, man.
Soul Forces.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Well, this has been a pleasure, isn't it? This has been awesome. I've really enjoyed this one.
This is our 9th episode, man. Crazy.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even, we're not even veterans yet. But I feel like it because we've done, 18 hours worth of content.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're subscribed for, innit? But yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's cool, man. Yeah, this feels like clockwork now.
Right? It really. I absolutely love it, and going through the week, every week's completely different because I've got like a new album to listen to. Oh, this is what I want,
I just this is the life, man. Like,
I agree.
Yeah,
let's make it work.
Make it work. Yeah, cool. All right, let's outro this shit.
Let's outro it. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening to the KaeDee Exchange. We have been KaeDee
boom.
and myself, David. We have been, just enjoying doing this. I can't do it too loud because I got like sleeping kid in the other room. Yeah, man. This has been a lot of fun.
He doesn't need to know what Griselda is right now.
Not right now, but he will
at some point. Yeah, it's not right now. It's not the right time.
Honestly, he's such a ledge. But yeah, if you're still with us, blessings to you. Thank you so much. We will be available in the chat and messages and whatever. Like, please feel free to get in touch. We do it for ourselves, but we also do it for you guys too. So, on that note, I'll say goodbye. We'll say goodbye. Peace.